Dan, 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 Dan. This is the new Victorian national anthem. Dan, 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 Dan. Welcome to Planet Collingwood. My name is Monty Dean. You're on Revolution Radio Studio. A big thank you to Tony and crew for the Y-Files. If you enjoyed Why Not? And that's the name, not a question, because why not? That's the question. Anyway, if you enjoyed the last 2 hours, please go to freedomslips.com and or revolution.radio and donate what you can. We are 100% listener supported, 100% volunteer. We're just 100% yo. And donate what you can, obviously. A coffee here. We don't accept children. We're not the elite. And once you're there on the website, go to the merchandise, buy some T-shirts and caps and cups and mouse pads and all manner of things. Then pop into the mighty chat room, which has liked, loved people and all that stuff. The mighty Mr. Rowe, all hail the Rowe Nation, is there explaining earthquakes. And I agree. Now, if you wonder what I'm agreeing to, you'll have to go to the chat. See what I did there? Yeah. Tonight's show is called "The Beatings Will Continue Until Morale has improves," because that's basically how it feels like here in Australia. And I've got two on-the-spot reporters. We've got our Victorian correspondent Pony, as well as our New South Wales correspondent Cortek. Gentlemen, how are we today on Wednesday? Oh, did you get wet? Because apparently there was that threat of a superstorm and hail and rain and 100% chance of rain, or not even a chance. It's 16 hours into the day and hasn't rained here yet.
As usual,
a supercell asthma event.
The truth is somewhere in the middle. It's a light drizzle.
Be careful, it's going to wash away and there'll be hail signs the size of your head.
The sky is falling. The sky is falling.
And it's just basically God with one of those squeegee things for a hairdresser.
I made you waterproof, damn it. Get out there,
right. Take that, Earthers.
Well, regardless, I'm Gladys to be here.
Oh, Gladys bin chicken or Glad Wrap barbecue chicken?
Anything.
Well, Dan, thank you for being here as well. I'm glad that you're here as well. Yeah, dang.
Let's be careful not to elevate them to celebrity status.
Oh. Well, yeah.
Late, isn't it?
They don't deserve art done about them. They don't deserve memes. They don't deserve anything. Let's just get past this and forget about it.
Yeah, they don't need it. There is a hashtag generated in Victoria. Of course, it's global, but I stand with Dan. And I so really want to actually see all those posts and put on the hashtag Hitler was right. Unfortunately, I don't think people would get the jet.
No, I just realised he's got bloody DNA in his name.
Yeah,
so that's why.
But he doesn't have human DNA in his body. Irony.
Obviously, why he's chosen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can see he's got those ears. You pick him up and I'll just move you over here now. They're like handles.
He got picked on at school and he's taken it out on the nation. This is. I reckon this is a whole
not my baby Yoda
category of people in politics.
Yeah. Oh, see, Baby Yoda is very popular, so we need a leader that amplifies that in the human consciousness. Well, Dan's got big ears. Yeah, close enough. He's got that Prince Charles type of feel.
Everyone gets behind Baby Yoda.
No, for everyone outside of the Australia, we're talking about Premier Daniel Andrews, who is basically a psychopath. The way I like to praise our Victorian officers for all they're doing. Well, police brutality, you twat. My
God, I've seen some absolutely just ridiculously unforgivable footage of these guys. It seems so not any level that this country has ever seen before.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, yeah,
it makes me think that people have been flown in for this.
We've invaded countries for less. I'll put it that way.
Makes me think that people have been flown in to bounce around like cowboys, or just invited down from the NT base put on a few police outfits and bash some heads in.
Well, there is a theory like that, because where did all these police come from? And so from now on, I don't think if there's any crime in Melbourne, they're stuffed, because there's a precedent of having so many police on the street. Now, you would have seen that disgusting, sickening, shocking footage of that gentleman who's talking to a police officer, and what's a word that a clean word I can say on radio? Scum comes up behind the gentleman, picks him up, and slams him face down into tiles.
It was in a shopping mall, a white tile place?
Yes, it was actually the foyer.
I saw that.
That's French. The hall of
the front bit.
Flinders Street Station. So it's like our central station here in Melbourne. It's the station to be at. Apparently, there is an investigation, so everyone's like, and it's been reported apparently that a superintendent has been suspended. And I've just gone
3 days. Yeah. We've investigated ourselves again and found literally very little corruption or wrongdoing. Yeah, we've given him a slap on the wrist. How do you like that?
Yeah, he's suspended. Yeah, this is not the end of the story, okay? You need to keep going with this. The man should be in jail, all right? Yeah,
I think we should leave him out in the open square and see what people would like to do to him for that.
Well, no. The police may be brutal back with medieval twangs, but we try and do better.
Okay, no public hangings.
Not yet. That's the other thing.
He fell unconscious from COVID.
Did you see his head bounce off? I don't know. They're making a live action. They're making a remake of the live action Mario movie, so I think that's why someone's complaining about, well, they've gone all white people. I'm like, I don't judge people on talent. I mean, that's just silly. Mamma mia.
I don't know how we ended up in Mario Land.
Well, I did an Italian accent, and it's like I have to cover why I went there. Oh, it's the Mario Brothers movie. Yeah, that's it.
You just add that sound effect to his fall.
Yeah. Bling.
So, big one next week 80.
Is it 80 or 81? I'm not challenging you. I'm just wondering because
I believe this week is 79.
Oh, okay. Because you know how you create your own reality. It's like I do. So I've tossed the calendar out the window.
Yeah, very cool.
It's Wednesday apparently. My computer tells me a Wednesday. That's why I turned up here.
Thank your computer for taking care of that menial everyday business.
Yeah, it's
flam.
Yeah, time is illusion. Yeah, I know, but you people still run by a calendar. I mean, come on. Can't we just flow? Stop harshing my mellow, man.
Apparently there's a massive Schumann Spike 26.
Yes, and I believe there's some solar flares heading towards us, or they've hit already. Now, not a kill shot, where, I mean, is anyone else tired of living through an historical event?
Yes.
Because, there's a kill shot coming from the sun. Good. About time. I mean, really.
It's got to take a number and get in line.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Pony and Bruce and I, we've all voted asteroid. And apparently that's not on.
A passage past our planet is now predicted for late on September 30th and into October 1st UTC time.
Oh, okay. What I do like is someone explained it, how NASA discovered an asteroid 3 days before it went past us. It's because it came from the sun. It was because we're behind the sun. They can't obviously see any rocks because there's a big ball of flame in the way, and all of a sudden it gets dragged in by the sun and then shot out, and it zips by us. And so, NASA's not that incompetent. They're still incompetent, but not that incompetent.
Is there a grey scale on the incompetent or competent scale, or is it just black and white?
There'd be a grey scale on the camera.
They're a little bit incompetent, but overall we decided to let them keep doing what they're doing.
I got some space rocks from Jupiter if you want to buy them, if you believe NASA.
How much? What's the catch?
For you, $5.
Yeah, they were featured in the movie Jupiter Rising. If you've seen that, Jupiter Ascending, that great film. Yeah, so those rocks were shown in the film. I mean, it's a gaseous giant, but
do they have any kind of special powers or anything like that? Any Jupiter-esque powers?
They're fictitious. That's a start, because it's a gas giant. There's no rocks from Jupiter.
There could be little ones floating around in there. Who knows?
My gas balls contain lightning.
That storm seems to be gaining speed, they say.
That you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Pony has giant balls. Yes, he's had the vaccine. No, wait.
Hey,
yeah, you go.
Spreading rumors.
No. Well, that's the joke now. It's like,
I had some horse trank, but
it cleared up the respiratory problem really well. Yeah, it's not a K hole; it's an eye hole.
PCP since the 70s, mate.
Come on, yeah. I went to see my doctor today. Like, going right now. Do you want some of these? I can speak junkie, you know.
Yes.
Pretty good.
Do you want me to? I'll speak a bit of junkie for you now. Yeah, you can't. I think he wants me to steal third. Just a $500 limit.
Junkie is actually Latin for zombie. No, it's not.
It should be. Well, actually, you got to feel for people in the pandemic, because illegal drug use. How would that work in curfew and everything else like that? Like, you have to find a dealer 5 kilometers from your house.
Drone. Send the drone. Send the drones.
Yeah, drones are long range these days.
Yeah, I'd just get one of those FBI dealers, because you know how the FBI works. They got their finger in everything. Dear, the January 6th protests, the FBI festival full of FBI people, and they not married. They could have married someone, but they arrested an undercover FBI. It's really funny.
They should have married someone who they just arrested for extra publicity. I don't think that's ever been done before.
Yeah, it's
called in Guinness.
An AR-15 wedding, not a shotgun running. This has got a bump. Oh, really? Oh. So, what else? Oh, it's there. Hang on. I can't remember it, so I'll have to go to my note. Don't have notes. I've just got a note. You're working, and we're searching, and we're working. Victorian Health Department facing $95 million in fines over hotel quarantine program. Where's the important? WorkSafe Victoria has put up 58 charges against the Victorian Health Department because the failure of hotel quarantine last year, which caused the second wave of COVID, and 800 people died.
Yeah. Let's bring back public hangings on second thought.
Yeah, I can see where you're going, but I'm not sure about the karma. I still
cheap entertainment. No one actually has to do anything.
No,
Did you see they're going to cut the Centrelink payments off for the unemployed?
Did you see they've sent multiple basically fines? It's the same thing. Fines to people who got the unemployment benefits early on. Fines like $28,000.
Well, actually, no. Hello, I'm Captain Pedantic. See, I'm getting a better intro. What? That's the A-Team theme. Sorry. I'm ripping off the A-Team. The unemployment benefits were shut off at the start of the year. These are disaster payments for people who weren't able to work. Which is kind of sucky, which is worse.
Yeah, who had work but couldn't make it. Was that the deal?
Yeah. So it's a better version of JobKeeper. And so if you had
mom whose best friend just doesn't get babies.
What? Sure. Hello.
Sorry.
This was not in the rehearsal.
Was that paid for? Was that paid for, Cortek?
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's enough.
Pedantic man. Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I think it was short enough so we don't have to pay residuals.
So better late than never.
Yes, I don't know. I should create a character. My producer's actually Russian. This was not in the actual rehearsal. I am not paying residuals to a failed TV show.
I'm taking these rubles out of your share.
Yes, I challenge the election result in Russia because the American meddling. It's like, I know this script. We had this anyway. Where were we? So the Victorian part of the Victorian government has been fined, going to be fined $95 million. It's going to be a court case and everything else like that. I'm not sure how it works because it's the government finding the government using the courts. And so basically the taxpayer is paying for everything.
Again, we've had a general inquiry and found no wrongdoing when we investigated ourselves.
Well, they did that last year, Pony. If you remember, they had that Royal Commission in the Zoom room. It's very weird. And the common thing was, I can't recall. So no one knows.
Is this with Glad Wrap barbecue chicken?
No, this was Dan the Man, Stan, I can't, Flim Flam Cram.
Because she, I mean, he's probably under investigation, but she's definitely under ICAC investigation. How has she still got a job?
I don't know. There's a corruption. But she was being investigated before the pandemic because if you look at Friendly Geordies, he's been nailing, because he lives in Sydney, so he's been nailing the New South Wales government to a tree for many a month. And he's actually being taken to court by Barilaro.
He's a little turd.
Allegedly, but very. I'm not sure. Sorry, allegedly, very. Dear listener, options, and because speaking of Mario's, these they call him Bruz, and it's all racism, and he's sensitive and.
He's just another state politician who thinks he can just profit from the insider trading and all that kind of stuff. But people have had a cupful.
Pork barreling, it's referred to, and that's what Friendly Geordies was pointing out, the pork barreling, and they made fun of him because of his Italian heritage, and he thought Barillero was thought he was being racist and everything else like that, and so it's a defamation case. He's actually suing Google because the YouTube videos are still up. And
Barillero just got a bit OJ on it, No, he doesn't really care about that.
Not really. It's the Barbra Streisand effect, if you remember how that started.
No. Well, we're 3-level inception down now.
Barbra Streisand, I think, was selling a house or was moving into a house on Malibu, and they took photos of the property. Someone took a photo and put it on the internet. And the short version, I think, is she didn't like that. Her lawyers told them to pull it down because she didn't want people to know, and she wanted to maintain her privacy. But by doing that, everyone found out where it was, and so it's instead of like, okay, just pull them down. It's like, oh no, they're saying the quiet bit loud, and so that's the Barbra Streisand effect. Is like if you want to hide something, you basically get a 90-foot neon sign arrow pointing at it and like, type thing.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that Barillaro guy definitely organised that goon squad to turn up at Friendly Geordie's house to get him arrested, and that's all going to case now. And it turned out that to fight for Barillaro to fight Friendly Geordies, he would then be potentially fighting Google as well, like you said, and Google came back and they're on Friendly Geordie's side. So
yes, the what is it? The people interest squad. What's the term?
People of interest or something like that.
Yeah,
it's so ambiguous. It's one of those goon squads created in the dead of night.
Yeah, anti-terrorist type of organisation basically, but people of interest because after Martin Plaza with that, just a nut job. I don't care if he's religious or terroristic. A nut job. They freaked out. And so they create these departments or goon squads or however you want to say it.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that Martin Place thing was another big show. There was 2 months before that. There was a big rehearsal at the dead of night that I saw through footage of someone, a skater who was there, kind of saw all these goons marching in the middle of the night. It was all rehearsed. So
except for
how much of it's real?
Yeah, well, I think the gentleman with the milk crate was weird. Like, how do you predict that? Okay, so the terrorist, the Tuscan Raider, the Sands Nigerian would come out of the cafe, and then, Dave, how about this? A couple of young blokes pick up a milk crate and run at him. Oh yeah. It's like,
Tuscan Raider.
yeah.
Beautiful.
I think you do John Z for pointing that. It's like, I won't say the words, but I'll make you think it. It's like every time I say N-word. Yeah, what did you think in your brain, you racist? So, it's been an interesting week. We had the AFL Grand Final. It's a sporting thing. But instead of Melbourne, it was in Perth. Played between two Melbourne teams, Western Bulldogs and Melbourne. Melbourne won. There's too many Melbournes in that paragraph. You know that, don't you?
Was there anyone in the crowd, or was it crowdless?
Oh, no. Well, WA has actually done a hard lockdown. So because they're so far away, Perth is the most isolated capital city in the world. And so every time I watch a medical drama, we'll put him into isolation. They're taking him to Perth. That's the way my brain works. So they were able to keep out.
There was no cases before the grand final, and now a ship has arrived with about 11 cases on it.
Yeah, and apparently a couple of people had false documentation that went over and blah, blah, blah. And,
they just needed to get the grand final out the way. It's going back.
Interesting, strangely enough, that's what's happening this week for Queensland.
Yeah.
They've got the NRL grand final, which is rugby league, and which is different rules to rugby union. One's a sport and the other one's rugby league. It's.
They might cancel it. That was the first word. Then the second I heard was, they probably move it.
Yeah, they'll move it further up north to Townsville or something like that. Yeah, but the here in Victoria on Friday they made it a public holiday for the grand final parade of the teams that go through the centre of the city, and only about 100,000 people turn up. Which is I don't know why they have a public holiday for a city of 5 million when 100,000 people turn up. But this year, the grand final wasn't in Melbourne because it's in lockdown and you can't leave your house, basically. So
they should have done a virtual event and had TVs in cars.
and cameras streaming it so you can see the TVs drive by the camera because you can't be there. But the idea, we've got a public holiday on Friday. We're in lockdown. We've been in public holiday for 6 weeks now. It doesn't make sense.
And the kids have been on school holidays for like a year.
Yeah, basically. And so then on Saturday we had the Battle of Northcote, where I think about 100 protesters turned up and 4,000 police turned up, and they blocked some of the locals who were just there to buy bread.
They arrested like 95 grandmas.
Yeah, or something. Well, like the footage I saw is they arrested 2 people, but there's 200 police, and it's like, yeah, that seems fair. So my comedic thing now is that any protest, I'm just calling it the Battle of.
Now they're saying there was a COVID outbreak during the Orange
I was getting to that.
protest.
Yeah, I was getting to that. Saturday, Saturday was the Battle of Northcote. Sunday is the Lord's Day. Monday, we had. Now it's interesting how the media portrayed this, where they claim to be health workers. It was like, oh, you tricky little, you naughty people. Instead of, they're not saying, they're fakes. They're allowing the audience they're throwing that little mind control, NLP, neuro-linguistics, to go in there by saying, alleged health workers. And so certain people's like, they're fake. But they didn't say they were fake. You know how they do, all that, or it's just using language.
You know how they do that ALP?
NLP. The ALP.
NLP, sorry.
Yeah, the ALP uses NLP. Yeah. Yeah, right. But they were actually nurses. The thing is, that was the Battle of Fitzroy. The difference is there was about 50 health workers. They're technically gagged by their union or organisation. They're all social distance. They had masks on. A lot of them had X's over their masks because they can't say anything. And they were holding placards. And so they were sitting cross-legged with placards, social distance. So that warranted for 2 bus loads of riot police to turn up, and it was like 4-1. And it was a dangerous moment protesting because, these people have a mind and we can't have that. You got to follow the government because they're more intelligent. Now, the thing is, the same day, you had Melbourne Football Club fans celebrating the grand final. And there's a park, I think it's Botanical Gardens in Melbourne, and there's a running track around it called the Tan. It's about 5 kilometres long, or a kilometre or something like that. But they gleefully showed on television, no masks, no social distancing. There was like over 100, maybe 200, all celebrating the football. No police in sight. Then in the same news bulletin, 50 so-called workers, health code workers, sitting down, social distancing, masks, and doing a silent protest. 200 police turn up. Now,
I can see the issue there. They didn't have any picnic blankets.
Well, yes, you are right. Yes, you are correct there. So, I mean, I was going to say hypocrisy, but you're right. It is the
I was about to take your cape for pedantic man.
I'm pedantic man.
And I am also fairly pedantic.
No, I said that wrong. I'll come in again. We are pedantic men. New from Kenner. What the hell am I talking about? Just showing my age because, watching him. Let's bounce around because we'll end up, the anger's there. I had a nap today because I thought, no, I'll have energy and I feel sleepy. But I woke up and I had a mind wipe. Like, oh, all right, let's go. What the hell are we going to talk about?
That sounds like you had lots of pep in your step, though.
Because I recharged. Yeah, that's all I've done today. I slept in. I finished watching season 2 of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Love that show.
Well, yeah, it's so good. It's not childish. It's for children, but the story's so good, adults can watch it.
It's got some Zen magic in there too sometimes.
Oh, yeah. The spirituality, the spiritual lessons in there is like, oh, my God. And you can just say, oh, that's just cartoon magic. Or if you follow spirituality, oh, yeah, thank you. Yes. I'll do that tomorrow.
Korra, the following series that they followed that up with, is also pretty amazing, but in 16:9.
Oh, okay. Ooh, bit technical. I'll be watching that.
I mean, Airbender's so old; it's in 4:3, so
it's early noughts, as the kids say. But I'll most likely, when I get money, I'll be buying it because I watched the movie and like, oh, this is good, but apparently purists didn't like it, and so I didn't make enough money. But the plot was wrong, but the way everything else that was made worked.
It's just because the animation was done so perfectly the first time.
Well, yeah, there is that as well. So,
best in best dress, they say, if you're Avatar.
And so I'll be watching Korra as well. So that's how I'm just moving through lockdown. Yeah. Basically, we have the New World Order, but it's Oz style, and it's not East Germany in the 60s. I don't think we'll ever get to that point because it's every day we move forward into this, people are slowly waking up to the corruption and the silliness of it all. Where hang on, so wait, like I've got family members defending the police because someone urinated on the shrine. Yeah, well, a horse urinated on the shrine as well. And, they've got a big bladder.
I think the fundamental thing with that one is that it's a shrine. Is it a shrine for war or a shrine for peace? How is it really defined?
It's a war memorial. It was built to honour the men who died during the Great War, which is World War One. And because Australia, it was over 300,000 Australians volunteered to go to war, which just turned out, it started out as a European civil war, and then they dragged everyone else in and turned into a world war. It was called the Great War because of the level of warfare was industrialized. And all right, gents, just run towards the machine gun nest. Good luck. In your thousands
when I'm on my whistle.
Yeah,
up the ladder.
Yes. All right, chaps, over and off, and but sir, we keep going. Shoot that man for cowardice. I'm sorry, what? There is so much stories in. Anyway, so it's a hallowed ground. It is there to honour all the Anzacs. I don't know if they actually acknowledge Anzac Day itself. They don't acknowledge the Frontier Wars, which was technically the British and the First Nations. I claim that they're all Australians anyway, and so they should be acknowledged because let's just ignore the past.
So the memorial's more of a big gravestone then, is it, rather than a memorial to freedom?
Well, see, the not a gravestone per se. I think there's the unknown soldier who is buried there, which is supposed to represent all the fallen, the heroes. And you could say that to be a hero, you have to be dead, type of. Yeah,
I'm just trying to unravel. But
it's a memorial to. It's like the War Memorial in Canberra. I know in Sydney the cenotaph. I think it is in Sydney, isn't it?
Yeah, and then Hyde Park.
Yeah, so that's basically it. It's basically a place to these people went to war, we acknowledge it, and hopefully we don't do it again. And so it's a time for reflection. And
hopefully it would be a monument to look at the bigger picture of the thing. If you're reducing it to, you pissed on the graves of people who went to war. No, it is more of a memorial to war, but to remind us not to do it, really. Isn't that the overall heading of the thing?
Yeah, but the thing, apparently there was one urination stain. Now it's like, well, the shrine wasn't open, there's no toilets, and they're surrounded by police. And when you got to go, you got to go.
Yeah, pretty pissy charges.
Yeah, but did we see it? It was one person said, oh, they urinated on the thing. And so that's just throwing. Apparently every protester was a pisser. Yeah, they go around pissing everywhere.
Sounds like you said to me.
But the RSL, Returned Servants League, have said, oh, they can't just desecrate the monuments and all the diggers, and it's offensive and blah blah blah. But then you have other veterans of they understand, and this is where I'm coming from. So, and I tweeted out. So you're upset that people are fighting for freedom went to a monument that recognizes people who fought for freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, because as I said earlier in the show, I think it was, even conversations are blurring into one now. The Anzacs would have invaded Victoria for less.
What they fought for was not this.
Yeah, it was against tyranny and fascism. World War One, which turned into just a complete cluster muck. I'll say it that way.
That's very New Zealand of you.
Yeah, a bit of a cluster muck, mate. Those mother lovers should know better. And then Germany with its blip of history in fascism. And we had the Japanese coming down as well. Hello, I'm Pedantic Man again. It's the only time that Australia really has defended itself is because the Imperial Japanese Army was heading towards us.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, because they believed that the Emperor of Japan was a god, and they had honor and blah blah blah. And we won't open up that book of Japanese thing. Oh, look, comfort stations. Anyway, back to you.
I thought we got rid of all that. My son has the divine right to rule over you as a country because I had a dream where I had sex with a god.
Well, no,
every single Egyptian ruler.
Oh, well, if you remember, did you see that footage of a large black woman? Nothing wrong with that. She's bold and brave and stunning. She was twerking a duck. That's the bit I like. She was twerking on a duck, and I instantly thought of Zeus back. He's
real duck.
Yeah, Zeus is dating again. Because how did you get pregnant? Zeus came down as a moose, and I had sex with it. Oh, a god. Not the part of bestiality. Let's skip over that part. But apparently Zeus turns into all these animals and has sex with women.
Is that what they say?
Yeah, I mean, it can't be. It sounds weird. I don't see how that's allegory.
This is 4 levels Inception down now. How do we get back up?
Exactly. Like how's that allegory? I mean, you had sex with a goose. What? Who's a bit of a dickhead? I don't understand.
I did it so I can rule over you all.
Yeah, but the thing is even now, anything like Prince Philip's wedding, not wedding, that was 73 years ago. Prince Philip's funeral, half of Australia gushed. There's still that mind control type of thing of, hey, look, our betters have died, and it's like, how are you going to become? Well, I don't know. They're used to it. There's programming. They get sucked into the majesty, the pomp and ceremony, and all that horse hockey. Without, we can't be a republic because no. Our queen is our sovereign. Why? Because she's the queen. Why? Because she has the divine right. Really?
Why?
Yeah, keep going. Why? Well, realistically, the queen has that position because an ancestor of hers killed everyone else that wanted to be king.
That ain't no right. That's just a
apparently
that's just a lucky bingo card.
Exactly. Yeah, I survived, so it's God's will. Right. Yeah, that's a good idea. Or God's right, divine right too.
He's on your side, isn't he? Yes.
Yeah.
No. I found something from the Food and Drug Administration that came out on the 17th of September. It is a products advisory committee. They're talking about the life-death ratio of any booster, eventuality. Can I play it? Was that audio coming through before?
Yes, it was. And yeah, why not?
Give it 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me when you get bored. This thing's ages.
Only the VAERS numbers are statistically significant, but the other numbers are troubling. Even if the vaccines had 100% protection, it still means we killed 2 people to save 1 life. 4 experts did analyses using completely different non-U.S. data sources, and all of them came up with approximately the same number of excess vaccine-related deaths, about 411 deaths per million doses. That translates into 150,000 people have died. Next slide would be slide number 11, the nursing home. Now, the real numbers confirm that we kill more than we save. And I would love everyone to look at the Israel Ministry of Health data on the 90-plus-year-olds, where we went from a 94.4% vaccinated group to 82.9% vaccinated in the last 4 months. In the most optimistic scenario, it means that 50% of the vaccinated people died and 0% of unvaccinated people died. Unless you can explain that to the American public, you cannot approve the boosters. Slide number 16, please, myocarditis. The paper just posted yesterday on medRxiv entitled mRNA COVID-19 Vaccination and Development of CMR Confirmed Myopericarditis shows that the myopericarditis risk was 1 in 1,000. And that's an overall age range from 18 to 65, mean age of 33. It is not inconsistent with what the VAERS shows. Next slide would be slide number 18, gaming of the child.
I'm getting depressed now. Thank you. Interesting. That's not Project Veritas, is it? I can't hear you.
Sorry. That is actually from the US Food and Drug Administration YouTube account.
Good. So YouTube can't take down this show then because I'm actually quoting the FDA.
Yeah, exactly. If anyone wants to have a look at it playing at home, go to YouTube and look for Vaccines and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee 9/17/2021.
In a way, it's like the French Revolution, like good idea, but it got way out of hand. The response by governments now, it's about control. It's got nothing to do with actual dealing with a pandemic. Project Veritas have come out with some shocking videos of undercover work with some 2 employees of Johnson & Johnson saying the kids don't really. Why do the kids need it? They're effing kids. Type of thing. So they're on YouTube at the moment. I think they're on Rumble. They're on other platforms as well. They're on Telegram.
One to follow, huh?
Yes, because it's just basically the hypocrisy of it all, where they want to start. Some places on the planet want to vaccine the 5 to 12-year-olds.
No,
like
no. It's when you start going through the children, people are going to start up and stand up and start arcing up. Because I mean, sure, everyone got suckered into this, try and do the right thing, thinking people knew what they were doing, but they obviously don't. Nothing works, and it is some just kind of highway robbery here by Big Pharma again. Plus the advantage, the chance for governments to try and take advantage of basically what they've been designed to try and achieve over the next couple of 100 years.
Yes,
so they're not going to give the control back. If they are, they're trying to save their own hides and any kind of public view that they know anything apart from being dangerously incompetent.
Oh, well, yeah, it's either they're complicit or incompetent. I don't know which is worse. We'll skip over how it started. It's either plan. I don't think it was planned. It was like the prime creator going, "Bink, deal with this, bitches." The thing is that they've got contingencies on contingencies and contingencies. They saw an opportunity and they took it, and that's why we're seeing this. But the original virus, I think, has died out, but now we're dealing with variants and blah blah blah. And as of 2 hours and 43 minutes ago, a third of New York health workers were fired because they were unvaccinated. Which that's what you want to do in a pandemic, is fire healthcare workers. Well done. And they want to bring in the National Guard. Like, well, that's just a bit tyrannical. It's a good thing being in lockdown, because I can just watch TV shows and ignore all this stuff, and then I come on here and I'm like,
I actually saw something the other day that I thought might be absolutely amazing. I don't know, it would seem like a meme at the time, and then I IMDb'd it, and it's an actual movie. Hold on, let me find it.
There's a new cartoon actually on Netflix, and what's it called? But it's about the deep state and how they're trying to, they rule the world, and it's like, oh, okay, interesting. That's been released.
What's it called?
I can't remember. Insiders? No. It starts in October. October's tomorrow.
It's not started yet anyway. Okay.
No. So when it pops up, I'll share about it. But it's a small group of people that are running all the conspiracies, and there's clones and aliens and so on and so forth.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, it's good. Good times. It's like, that's all fake, so we'll just make a TV show so you've got plausible deniability like Stargate.
It works.
Well, yeah, because because I do, like I've mentioned it before, they did over 400 episodes, and on the centenary episodes, 100, 200, 300, 400, they did the episode was about, there was a TV show about Stargate in the Stargate universe, and they're basically explaining exactly what the show about Stargate is. It's like, well, what's the conspiracy about Stargate? Just watch episode 100, 200, 300, and 400. That will tell you.
I think that kind of makes things like what's called a hyper sigil. There's a guy who did that. His name's Grant Morrissey or something like that. He did a comic series called The Invisibles. Grant something. Invisibles. But that had a whole bunch of truth bombs in it as well.
Yeah.
And absolutely iconic. But the whole thing was this comic books seem to create some kind of cycle in itself within itself as a story talking about itself. So it gets energy in a different way. It's quite there's not a lot of things that do it, but some people have kind of jacked onto that. It's super interesting. That is all.
Excellent.
The movie I was talking about is here's the rundown, and see if you like the sound of this. After losing his parents, a priest travels to China where he inherits a mysterious ability that allows him to turn into a dinosaur. At first horrified by this new power, a hooker convinces him to use it to fight crime and ninjas. The Velocipasta came out 2018. This is an actual movie.
Yes, I saw it. It did look like a meme. It's like, no, they made this.
It's probably super, super, super terrible, but I'm going to check it out anyway.
Yeah, I'm just checking because I want to know what that show is. New World Order, not New Order. So it's a new world order after all. It's a new. Yeah.
Is that a ride from the new World Order Disneyland?
I think so. No, The Order. No, that's a horror film.
They could call it "It's a Big World" ride.
Yeah.
Have everyone locked up.
Won't be able to find it. Dang. Maybe I can just talk amongst yourselves. We're doing research live here on Planet Collingwood. So I'll go to my.
Hey, Cortek, how are you, mate?
Hey, pony bones.
Well, hang on.
It's
Home
a hard
Stallone.
life.
Just opened YouTube and they're suggesting videos. Home Stallone, and they've put Sylvester Stallone's face on Macaulay Culkin. I'm like, I'll save that for later.
Ladies entertainment. Check.
Yeah. Those deep fakes are scary. All right, now this is going to take a while. No.
Sorry, Pony. What were we singing?
There we go.
Oh, it's a hard van life.
Yeah,
that's right.
The Netflix show is called Inside Job.
Nice.
Yeah.
And
good animation.
When?
I believe October 22nd, only on Netflix and Pirate Bay. And easy TV.
Nice.
So, good times.
Not the documentary though; it's an animation we're looking for, aren't we?
Yeah, it's an actual animation, and it's just.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, there you go. It's not going to really work for as an audio medium, but here we are.
One to note down for a watch later for the people playing at home.
Yeah, I'll share it in the old chat room there.
So it's a cartoon all about conspiracies, is it?
Yep.
And are they tackling any actual?
I've got the trailer. I've got the trailer here. Goes for 30 seconds.
Yeah, we'll play it.
See what it sounds like.
Have you ever wondered who really runs the world? Everything you know is a lie, and the people who are really in control are.
Jesus, can we turn on the lights for once?
Some of us have hangovers, all right?
Our office manages every conspiracy in the world. Can you manage to show up on time?
Reagan Ridley! You are so smart, but your people skills. What?
I think pause about there because I think there's swearing.
Well, you know,
that's the theme of it because I believe there's swearing in it, and so you get the gist of it. Where it's like Star Trek Lower Decks, but with comedy.
I got time for that.
Yeah, so it'll be worth watching. Like, okay, what are you showing us here?
Maybe they're a whole new level of reality predictability.
It's just going to make you mad, man.
Simpsons times 2.
Yeah, actually, my pedantic man will come out and it's like, that's wrong. That's wrong. You're not doing it right.
I didn't even have time for my intro music with this one. I got a stamp on this straight away.
I haven't put my pants on yet. What's going on? Oh, damn it. How does Superman do this in a phone booth?
It's pretty tricky. Though.
I got pedantic one time.
What'd you do?
They changed a certain ice cream container on me. So I emailed them.
And
nothing changed.
Can you
Dear
outline?
Sir / Madam / Overlord, I would like to complain about the size of my tub.
Before the tub used to perfectly fit in the corner nook of my icebox. Now it
was round.
A little janky.
It went from round to octagonal, so it had 8 corners.
Oh, that's not good for anyone.
One corner's bad enough.
Yeah,
I emailed them and he replied, "Oh, sorry, sir, we've ordered 800,000 units of these. Well, I haven't seen the ice cream since.
Send it back.
Shop
with your feet. Shop with your feet.
Our consumers can't get the spoon into the corner, so like their joyful experience of eating our chemically laced ice cream is being lost.
Ends in tears every time.
Why is there a corner?
Corner.
Oh, I have to wait till it melts and drink it. This is not the experience I want.
But just think how many people have emailed the media about certain events.
Well, apparently there's a court case in New South Wales, and they're challenging mandatory vaccines. And apparently the judge has had over 2,000 emails of people not connected to the case, and he's had a go at these anti-vaxxers. I can't look at this and blah blah blah. I'm like, oh yeah, well, see, the silent army's there.
Don't look at the research. Yeah, cool. I was talking to the guy there, not you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, you can't start off with the Queen's a reptile.
No, you don't start there.
Well, even that has popped up with the protests in Melbourne. You don't open with they're all pedophiles. You may lose people.
You work up to it.
Yeah, and I did an interview with Topher Field, which is on Wafer Thin Entertainment. It screwed my algorithm because it's popular.
Who's he?
He's a libertarian that lives in Melbourne, documentary maker, and he's been part of the protests because of just the level of tyranny that the government's unfolding, and the overblown response to the pandemic, which is it's just hardcore stupidity.
Is he like a real Rukshan that gets in there all the time, or
he's a bit of both. He live streams when he actually goes onto the ground to the protests. At the Battle of the Shrine, he standing next to Rukshan and actually held his camera because apparently that camera weighs a ton, and helped out. And he did about a 3-minute sort of mini report to Rukshan. Rukshan, can you just share some views of what's going on? And Topher did that, and that went a bit viral on TikTok because it's like, well, he just explains it quite well.
A couple of legends.
Yeah, and so I got
and by
Topher,
association, that makes you a bit of a legend too.
Yeah, well, of course, everyone knows that. I mean, geez, can't just. I'm not a bit of a legend. I am a legend in my own.
Okay, but moving on.
Yes. So if you do want to see, it's about an hour and 20 minutes, and it basically does a recap of what's been happening in Victoria since February 2020. And there's about 50 likes on the video, and it's over 500 views in less than a day and a half. So it screwed my my algorithm because, like, well, none of my other videos do this.
That's
damn
cool.
it. But it's worth it because,
Sorry, I'm ready to go your and Bruce's Stardust Ranch next as well.
Oh, nice. It's you'll enjoy that.
I just love the audiobook format. I do other things while I'm listening to it. It's great.
Yes, you'll hear my dulcet tones talking about greys for 7.5 hours.
Sweet.
Excellent. It's all coming up Cortek.
Nice.
So yeah, we explained that, but that's part of it where I jokingly said, but that's how I deal with things through comedy. And I did warn Topher before the interview, I'm going to go a bit comedic. So just if it doesn't land, just move on. And he said, oh, don't worry, I'll just ridicule for a minute, and then we'll move on. Like, oh, excellent, we're on the right page there.
You've done this before.
Yeah. Cheeky. But he says you don't sort of start with the, they're all pedophiles and stuff. And I said, oh, well, right. Yeah, don't open when you want to help people wake up to the corruption in the system. Don't start with there's baby raping lizard wizards. You may lose them there.
If I didn't think that was a real thing, I'd say it was a good name for a band.
Yeah, I know. Well, see, the thing is, they do
just
exist.
Wizard lizards.
Exactly. Yeah, they do exist, but there's only 7 of them, and they don't control everything. So they do exist, but it's you basically start.
We are the wizard lizards.
Yeah, Pony's already at the concert.
bring.
Oh yeah, I just finished, mate.
Our new album, This Baby Tastes Nice. So
yeah,
open
this way.
Yeah, I usually start with the financial chicanery. So, did you know that the Federal Reserve is a private company? Start there. Don't open with the Lizard Wizards unless they're a band and you're asked to open for the Lizard Wizards.
King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizards.
Yeah. Well, do they sell T-shirts?
Well, you copyrighted that.
Yeah.
No, that is an actual band.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like 17 words long, and
I don't know if they're any good, but it kind of rolls off the tongue.
Wizard.
Oh, there's a difference.
Yeah, the King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Scissored Lizards, and it's like
that won't, everywhere.
Yeah, and that won't fit on a number plate. Well, Metallica does, but that won't.
How did you feel allowed to have a number plate that went all the way across your bumper?
A scrolling LED number plate.
Yeah, the assailant is
I didn't get it on.
Yeah, the assailant's in a Ford Astra, and he's got a paragraph for a license plate. Oh, it's that lizard guy. Yeah. You're listening to Revolution Radio Studio 8, Planet Collingwood. My name's Monty Dean. That's a Cortek, and that's a pony. We'll be back right after this. Stick around. Welcome back to Studio A here on Revolution Radio. It is Planet Collingwood. We're just at halftime. I think we played well, and we're moving the ball up the wings. And I think our full forward Cortek is kicking goals like nobody's else. Unfortunately, we're playing chess, and it's upsetting the other players. However, if you enjoyed the last hour, please go to revolutionradio.radio or freedomslips.com and donate what you can. Just click on the Patreon button, a shekel here, a dinar there, a US dollar debt note, whatever you have, and support the station, because we're 100% listener supported and 100% volunteer. So we're 100%, yo. Oh, there. My day drinking's coming back to haunt me. And tonight's show is brought to you by SJ's Ninja Dojo for Squirrels. Learn the ways of the squinger and let your rodent defend you. That's Ninja Dojo for Squirrels. So those, give a job to a trash panda. In this economic times, you get them, bring back some confidence. Basically, we just sit them down and watch Cobra Kai over and over again. It's kind of like torture. Now, gentlemen, did you know I think, definitely Victoria, maybe New South Wales, but on Sunday morning, we're time traveling. See, shock, absolute shock.
Daylight savings.
Yes, the show is linked to the east coast of the United States, so the show will still be at 2 a.m. Wednesday morning, but for us Victorians, it will be 5 p.m. next week instead of 4 p.m. And I think New South Wales at the same time. Queensland just doesn't do anything because it's closer to the sun.
It's because of the cows. They don't do anything.
Yeah, and the curtains will fade. Yeah, even though in a 24-hour cycle that we have now, there's no point of having, apart from all the health complications that by moving it just an hour. And I think about 3 or 4 weeks later, the United States comes out of daylight savings, and then the show moves to 6 p.m. So half the year we're at 4, and the other half we're at 6. But if you're in the United States, we're still at 2. Yeah.
Should have said they come out of daylight savings into a dark winter.
I just want... Winter is going. I just want to just tell me what you see in this picture right here.
Look.
Well, that's how a picture works, Pony.
What does the headline say?
I'll just click on it. Flamethrower squirrels have reached the US. So they're a rogue squadron from SJ's Ninja School for the Squirrel. Those squingers have gone dark.
They're the ones that got black belt and then thought they'd make their own school or something?
Yeah. It's very Marvel DC plot line. So I don't know how. It looks so good, though. I know it's Photoshopped, but still, look how cute he is with his little flamethrower.
Little paws.
Yeah, the little boy, yeah. I'll be impressed if it says Spaceballs flamethrower. Then I'll be good.
Get away from my nuts.
Yeah. I remember this. David Letterman would use the same jokes every winter in New York. It was so cold out. So cold today. When I went for my daily walk, I saw some squirrels warming their nuts. There we go. But thank you. We're here all week. Try the seal. Yeah. Kind of miss him, but then I don't. Geez, how bad is late night television now? Where they did that climate show, and like, really, have you thought of trying comedy?
Was
Just
it
putting it
supposed
out
to be a
there.
comedy show?
Well, they think they're doing comedy, but it's all left leaning. It's all Xerox
Biased.
or photos. They're all the same. They're all copy of a copy of a copy, and it's just
That's
half
not
of them-
unique.
No, but ever since, well, see, Trump left the office of president, and so after saying the same joke for 5 years of Orange Man bad, they don't have any material anymore. Mind you, it's sickening. Stephen Colbert keeps doing routines about vaccinations and syringes. It's like the cringe meter's just going off the charts.
It would have been
If-
a line ball to begin with.
Well, yeah, I think it's there's a thing about free advertising or something like that, but it's just ridiculous. That's the fun part of, like, if we take down the tyrannical government, the media will be complicit. There was actually media representatives at the Nuremberg trials because they helped the government push what actually happened. So it's going to be quite fun when certain things are going to be exposed, and the media is like, oh, mind you, that's the good thing about the real Rukshan. As well, apart from a lot of people are addicted now, and it's like, oh, he's not broadcasting today. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
I've seen those memes of that guy just staring off to space, sitting on the swing by himself.
Yeah.
Just go, until Rukshan's next broadcast.
Yeah.
This is me.
And so, now technically, a pedantic man. He does have a slight agenda because he's a human and he gives his opinion. But the media are attacking him. The hit pieces already are out in the last 4 days. It was
Super jealous.
I know, it's like, he's doing way better. Oh, he's not independent. He's a wedding photographer. It's like, yeah, instead of filming weddings, he's filming protests now, live streaming, and get 10 times the amount of viewers that you do. And so 6-hour videos, unedited, just showing what's going on. And the media says, oh, no, that's biased. You have to watch our 30-second grabs on the at night.
Every single one of those people in those big companies who call themselves a journalist who got in there to be journalists could be doing the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, actual journalism.
They could be out there doing actual journalism like this.
Yeah, even
make your choices.
Avi Yemeni, I think that's his last name, from Real News. He's the Australian reporter because that Real News is out of Canada. He's gotten popular because he's not following the narrative. He's a cheeky little scamp, but I'll move on.
We love cheeky little scamp larrikin in this country.
Yeah. I don't want to meet the guy, but he does good work. And Topher as well broadcasts it. So basically, what he's showing different points of view, or say truth, compared to the multi-million-dollar corporations that are fueling the narrative. And what has been shown, just with the CMFU MOUSE union things.
Yeah.
The union with those protests.
I think it goes something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I got a T-shirt and a cap with ears. I don't know what's going on. There's a narrative, right-wing provocateurs, which they're still using. They're pushing that idea, and then Rukshan would go up to Sikhs, 4 or 5 Sikhs who are construction workers, and they've got the turbans and everything else like that. And it's like, hello, because Rukshan's actually part Sri Lankan. He grew up he's Australian, but his heritage is Sri Lankan. Mm-hmm. And he went up, so are you neo-Nazis? And they're like, no, we're not. I don't. And so that's fueled basically the independent media, falls under alternative media. They've exposed the lies that the mainstream media has put forward because
more so.
They keep saying that the protesters are violent and they're looking for a fight. And then you watch Rukshan, where every time the protesters see cops, they turn around and walk away. The only time there's violence is when the police corner them and then the police instigate.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah. So
if you watch the whole footage and not just an edit of that footage, that's what you see. And everyone as they're going through is telling everyone else to calm down. This is a peaceful thing. If anyone is going to be violent, it's not going to be us, kind of thing. This is what they're saying the whole way.
There's a lot of frustration and anger's boiling over. So there are people throwing rocks and bottles and stuff at the police, and apparently that means the police can shoot pepper bullets and rubber bullets at unarmed civilians and then say, oh, they're violent. Like, okay.
Each one of them has got a choice too.
Yeah, but if you look in the timeline, the police escalated it because the police turned up with full riot gear and a pellet gun type thing. And that's what, and of course, if they did that, the protesters would turn up or trying to. It's like the Hong Kong riots, where if you've seen the video about the Hong Kong, well, are they riots? They're definitely a protest.
It's more of a demonstration. I thought there was too many people for it to be a riot. Yeah, and people weren't rioting; they were just demonstrating.
Yeah, but they turn up with 2 by 1 meter ply boards, so they've got shields, and they've got a communication system of hand signals from the front to the back because there's thousands. The protesters would actually okay, we're protesting here. The cops have all set up and they're ready to go. Quick to the station. And so they go to a station and move in the city and start protesting somewhere else. And the police are playing catch up all the way. Amazing. And that's sort of what happened in Melbourne as well, because the 9 network helicopter, which Sky News was using as well, they were filming the protests from above. And the Victorian police told them to stop doing that because protesters were using it as a strategic placement.
So there was a court case that got won recently as well in the last couple of days to do with blocking off the air zone. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, they blocked off the air zone, and then the media, the mainstream media, went to court and said no, and the judge said correct.
Yeah.
And so they can do it again, because what they were doing is the police say, but they're showing where the police are, but I was actually watching a live stream as well as at the same time flipping to a Sky News. And a small group of protesters were guiding them to the other group. We're actually trying to get the protesters together. It wasn't really about telling where the police are in position. And even if it was like, the police are there, it's so they can move away from them, not attack them, it blows out that, they're looking for a fight, violence. Yeah, that false reality where they're all professional protesters, neo-Nazis, right-wing agitators, and they just want to have a fight and it's violence. And you look at the actual footage,
nothing like that's happening. Yeah, the fact that we are not really yet even standing up and saying, well, if we as a nation think something is not good, we need to be able to voice that concern.
Yes.
And generally there are no real channels in unless you think that anyone your constituent is going to do something for you rather than feather their own nest, which is generally the model. I haven't seen any evidence contrary to that.
Yes, and was Bill Shorten Prime Minister?
I don't know.
Anyway, Bill Shorten, who was I knew he was the head of the Labor Party, as mad as hell would call him Bill Zinger Shorten. He called them these are just Nazi man babies, and all they've done is they've gone to the Reject Shop, which is like a $2 store, and they've bought a high vis and they've joined the protests because they just want to cause a ruckus. Now the problem is we're in lockdown and all the stores are closed. So
how are you going to do that, Sherlock?
Yeah. Who's the thinker? Yeah, I can see why you lost the leadership. And so there's two realities, the false reality. I mean, there was a hashtag of Murdoch riots because they believed that the Murdoch press, Rupert Murdoch and News Limited or whatever, Fox and so on and so forth, that they stirred up all this trouble from reading the Herald Sun, and all these people believed it and went out there and gave it a good fight. And so they called them fake tradies. It's the Murdoch riots, and apart from the union members very upset with the union bosses, and they trashed the office because the union bosses basically agreed with the mandate for the construction industry to have vaccines. They went to their office and said, "Hey, what's all this about?" So they went out and said, "Like, yeah, okay, I'll ask you questions and I'll talk to you." Blah blah blah. A lot of yelling. Yeah, I was watching it, going, "Yeah, I can see why they didn't want to come out because everyone's so angry. They're just yelling and swearing at them." All right, well, what we'll do is I'll go inside and we'll figure something out, and I'll come back in an hour. 2 hours later, they're still waiting for this guy to come back out, and then someone that wasn't at the protest was listening to 3AW, which is a talk radio station here in Melbourne. Been around for decades. It's like being number one for forever. And you find out that that same guy was calling everyone Nazis, right wing, all these names, and the actual group of construction workers at the front found that out and went ballistic. And it was a protest against the union. It wasn't against the government. It was the union bosses. And so the police went in when it got really violent, because they were, we have a complaint, we want to have a resolution. And then they were duped and sold out again. And you don't upset a construction worker. No, they're really fit. I mean, they lift things for a living. You know, they're kind of buff. I mean, the ladies love them. Even, have you seen a lady construction worker? Woo, hello. But, and you get them cranky, they go off like a frog in a sock in a fry pan. And after that, that night, the government said, we're closing down the construction industry for 2 weeks. So what do you think the construction workers are going to do the next day? Because they can't go to work. Yeah. So they went to protest again, and they were mainly upset that they were called all these crappy talking points, like how they try and tear down Trump supporters. Now, unfortunately, there are Trump disciples, and they really need to let go of that idea. Like, he is a human being still. He isn't the reincarnation of Jesus. He can help. You know what I'm saying?
Overall, we should just learn to have a healthy distrust of organised media from this. You know, this whole thing is just clearly people have shown what side they're on. People should be taking pretty accurate note of what. And
on the Tuesday, this is only 8 days ago. On the Tuesday, 8 to 10,000 people turned up for these protests. Now, the thing is, the Monday protest was mandatory vaccines. Was against the union. The next day, it was basically just the mandatory vaccines as well as anti-lockdown, because what the government's doing and just the shadow pandemic, as it's called, suicides through the roof, self-harm, the loss of businesses. There's a food bank. I don't know if you've seen this footage. I think Lonsdale Street, and the line is about a block and a half. A city block and a half of people waiting to get food, because no one can generate money after, what is it? It's nearly 13, 18 months of going in and out of lockdown and not working, and the government's not providing it. And so, people don't have food, strangely enough.
Second World War inflation picture. So pictures like that.
It's the modern day soup kitchen. It's called the food bank, but that's basically what it is. And so then you had that Tuesday where they went to the Westgate Bridge, and by watching the Rukshan, now these videos are still up on the Facebook page, The Real Rukshan, if you choose to watch it. It's very long, however, you can see what's actually going on. And they're walking through traffic, and 50 to 75% of the traffic are honking. There's a lot of people that haven't made that decision to protest, but they feel the same way.
Yeah.
I know family. I've got family members that are slightly older than me. They think the same, but they're not gonna. You're not gonna get 4 70-year-olds out there, especially after the way the police treat 70-year-olds. And that's when on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, we've changed tactics here in Victoria, and the police said, don't come into protesting. What that means, changing tactics, was they brought out the armoured personnel carrier. It's called a Bearcat, which is part of the anti-terrorism group. So they've got the anti-terrorism squad, and there's footage of a tradie talking to a guy in like a 4x4, and they get out and arrest him straight away, and it's just high level tyranny type thing, as well as the thing was instead of just get out of the van and run towards the protesters and fire indiscriminately. Pepper pellets and tear gas and rubber bullets. That's their levels. That's their new tactics.
Yeah, this behaviour is un-Australian. It's a level
very.
that I've only seen in videos from the US before. Which makes me think it's that they've just got people from the US based in the Northern Territory and given them police uniforms. Because I don't know, there's just a level of.
But it's also just not the United States. It's South America, in some third world countries when they're trying, they want control. Even the Chinese government with the Hong Kong protests and everything else like that.
What I meant is that it's a feeling of detachment. Like if you were somewhere else, if you were on a holiday doing something or something like that, it feels like there's a level of detachment from these attacks that I've never seen before in this country. That's all.
Yeah, they're not Australians attacking Australians. It seems to be they're non-human, or they're now alleged. Welcome to the game show. Allegedly, it looks like where are all these people? Like, are they bussing in police officers from Horsham and all rural stuff? But there seems to be too many. Like, are they mercenaries? Are they security companies? Are they foreign troops in disguise? We don't know 100% sure.
Could be anything.
Yeah, well, see, we're asking questions. We're not giving answers at the moment, but it doesn't make sense. The Victorian police have had a history of shooting people, so at least they try to win back the trust of the public, but they've lost that in the last 12 months.
Yeah,
or more, with arresting a pregnant woman in Ballarat because she tweeted, she put on Facebook.
I think she organised a group. I think she organised. She might have organised a protest. Yeah,
a protest in thing, and there's another footage of a police officer choking another woman because she wasn't wearing a mask. And this is all last year, and so now it's just ramping up. Now the thing is, we get to Wednesday, where there was less numbers, but the police were firing indiscriminately, and they were shutting down checkpoints and everything else like that. And they ended up at the Shrine of Remembrance because the police were instigating violence all through the city.
Yeah.
And there was a standoff. There was a moment of humanity where the protesters and the police. I realise I may be repeating half of last week's show, but anyway.
That's true.
But there was a moment between the police, everyone at police and protesters. There was a minute silence
of connection.
Yeah, well, a minute's silence for the two construction workers that committed suicide because of losing 2 weeks worth of businesses. And the media, they reported it and let it slide because this is the ongoing damage of the pandemics. But the lady who was organising that little moment said for all the suicides over the pandemic, and it was completely quiet except for a police radio in the background because they probably couldn't hear what was going on. And then 2 hours later, the police started firing into the crowd because they wouldn't move. And being hallowed ground, and the media is spinning it that they desecrated the war memorial, and it's like, well, they're there fighting for freedom at a memorial of people who fought for freedom. So, yeah.
Good on them.
Yeah. But I don't think they'll go there again because of the reaction. But, just on paper, the police fired. It's an act of treason. It's hallowed ground, and there's nothing sacred. I mean, you can see it with the presidency of the United States, where you had 4 years of making fun of Donald Trump, but they were making fun of the office. There wasn't that respect of the office.
Yeah,
and
that's where they stuffed up. They killed the office in general.
Yeah, and so now there isn't that respect for the office, but also, you got Biden doing what Biden is.
So not that Biden could inspire it anyway.
Yeah, I know. It's not much of a jump because of the just complete shit show that Biden has done.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, Trump's evil. Yeah, Biden's worse. I don't know. We have to see what he can do. I have been seeing what he's done in 9 months. God.
Trump wasn't Clinton. That's basically the measure of it.
Yeah. Not Jamie Oliver. He's the chef. Who's the British git comedian in the States? Something Oliver.
Jamie?
No.
He's a chef. He's a chef / comedian.
No. He's got glasses and he used to be on The Daily Show.
What does he say?
John Oliver.
John Oliver, okay.
Yes. Gee, thanks for your support. Oh, the chef? I just said it wasn't the chef.
Not Jamie.
He did a report or a segment on voter ID is racist, and Stephen Crowder's show yesterday, basically half the YouTube episode was basically debunking everything, because apparently having identification is racist. And like, well, we shouldn't have vaccine passports then.
No.
Yeah.
We're having this slow loop around back to the fact that apartheid's bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
How long is it going to take? We'll take a bet.
Yeah, that's what I'm finding fascinating. Oh no, the vaccine economy is good. It's like, well, hang on, wait. If there was actually media, like the Premier of Victoria actually has said this at a press conference, vaccinated people will still get the virus and they can still transmit the virus. So what's the point of having a vaccine passport? If the vaccine works, the vaccine passport is useless. If the vaccine doesn't work, the vaccine passport is useless.
There's no way it can work if it doesn't work, and it doesn't work.
So you're saying it doesn't work?
I never did, never, ever. No, too many.
All right, thank you, Sir Joe. Don't you put your thing, I'll come down. We can't have daylight savings because the cows will fade.
They sleep at a different time. They know when to sleep. They get their sleeping times from the stars. And who are we to say when the cows should sleep or be fed?
Well, remember there was a small town in the United States that, we can't have a solar farm because that sun is needed for the crops.
Yeah, well, fair.
Yeah.
And how'd that go?
Yeah, and I point out, it's like, maybe you've been in the sun too long. If you think that. Didn't
some woman try and buy the sun once, or say that she owned the sun when everyone was kind of exploring those concepts?
Probably, but I mean, technically, who owns the moon? Because in the mainstream history, the Americans got there first, and then the Russians did, and I think the Chinese. I don't know if the Chinese have landed a person on it yet, but there's all these little flags. And we didn't go to the moon. Well, get a telescope and point it at the moon, and you should see the flags. That should be, there's your evidence.
You can't do that, though. It's not on this side, is it?
Well, yeah.
You can't see.
I don't know. Is the Sea of Tranquility on the yeah.
I would wager just by happy. You got a point there.
If it's the far side of the moon, you wouldn't see the Earth.
If I was going to land there, I'd go cuspy half. Maybe that's the way they got the shot there, because it also, how would you get it otherwise? You'd need to get cuspy on it, half dark, half light kind of thing, and then you could clearly see. Otherwise, you'd be on the other face and you'd be looking straight up. It'd be a weird angle. The angle from the photos, from those alleged photos, is different like that. So they would have had to been up the top or one of those cusps.
Well, no, because the moon isn't. The moon doesn't go around the equator.
No, it doesn't turn either.
No, it does move around. It tracks around the planet differently.
Okay.
Because there's videos. And maybe it's in a stationary orbit, but the planet wobbles. But there's photos. You've seen photos of where during the year the photographer's taken a shot of the moon, and you can see it stagger across the horizon.
Can you see the flag with the telescope?
I believe you. Tap 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 tap. Oh yeah, you're right. Swine.
Yes, the flag is still on the moon, but you can't see it using a telescope. Well, there you go.
I did. No, pedantic man is not leaving. I'm just going to. I don't know why I leave. I should stay.
I just borrowed the 18 van.
Yes, yeah. When I do a van, I get arrested. Anyway, that's a dark joke. That's for Pony to make him giggle. when I was helping out my stepdad, they live across the road, and he would go to bed at the same time because, well, that's his jam, you know. However, I would walk across the road, walk from my house to their house at 10:30 every night, and I would see the movement of the moon. Now, when it's the moon moved tonight, and like people think, well, yeah, it does that. But what I meant was it changed sides. Where walking to my parents' house, one night it was on the left hand side of me, and then the next night it was on the right hand side of me. It's like, did we change timelines? Is the moon having hiccups? Is it a Super Ball now bouncing around?
Were you walking on your hands?
No.
Okay, well, we've ruled that out. I'm fresh out of ideas.
Oh, good. Well,
apparently,
welcome to Size with Comedy, Comet and Monty. Did you walk on your hands? No. All right then.
Matter of fact, could have. Conveniently, even the powerful Hubble Space Telescope isn't strong enough to capture pictures of the flags on the moon. There you go.
Yeah, allegedly. Welcome to the game, allegedly.
Isn't that?
Yeah. Oh, there's another game
convenient.
show. Convenient or what a coinky dink. Welcome to
Coinkydinks.
Yeah, welcome to Winkydinks, the sister show of allegedly. It works for me. But I'm still tired of living through a historical event.
I call those code incidents.
Yes, you would have a field day. I could see why you sort of rested for 2 years and came back now. It's like, oh my God, look at all this stuff.
Yes.
I reckon the Spanish are on the ball with the whole siesta thing.
Yeah, it's now I don't know how much of it is true, but in the 1800s, allegedly,
if there was an 1800s,
well, maths dictates there was.
There totally was. Just
wait a minute.
However, stop. Hammer time.
Whoa. As you were.
It's Britney, bitch. No, wait, sorry, wrong song.
We're 3 levels down.
Yeah, we're going deeper. People would sleep for 4 hours, get up for about 2 hours, and then have their second sleep for another 4 hours. So it'd be interesting to find out for realsies that if we sleep 8 hours continuously. But having a siesta, it just does 20 minutes just to do a quick recharge. But if you know Australians, they don't have that siesta, and so when they get home after being up for 12 hours, it's like, I'm just gonna sit in my comfy chair and watch the news and have a beer, and then Dad's asleep by sports.
That one beer is nap beer. You need to push on through to the second one if you don't want to have a nap.
Well, yeah. So I'm. With all the weirdness that's happening these days with energy placements of the solar system and yugas and all that type of stuff, the body's asleep now. It's like, yes, sir, I will. I call them snap naps. It's like, my eyes are getting heavy, and then an hour later, okay, my neck's sore because I fell asleep in front of the computer.
What's your take on the spiky, record-breaking spike of Schumann resonance? I reckon that's all got to do with people's dissatisfaction.
Well, it is because it's linked to the alpha wave. It usually is. It's postulated it's linked to the alpha waves of the human brain, and so is the planet driving consciousness by tapping into the frequency of the human brain, or are the humans affecting the planet with its spike, or is it it's a push and pull symbiotic type of thing where the planet gives us a nudge and then we sort of nudge it up as well?
Could the Schumann resonance be mapping some kind of loosh flow?
No, because you would have seen it before the 20s, before say 2012. The Schumann resonance was very well. They sort of discovered it in the 50s and started tracking it in the 60s. And on average, it was 7.8 hertz. And it's only been the last decade or decade and a half where consciousness is really opening up, where a lot of – so after 9/11, like my personal story. 9/11. 5 years after that, then I started questioning things, and 16 years later, here we are.
Yeah.
And so, as more people are waking up, so there's a great awakening, and it's like you've discovered there's corruption in the political system. You still have 99% of waking up to. Yeah, it's like, good luck with that. You've learned to walk. Well done. Oh, look, you've fallen on your nappy / diaper. So it's a mixture of things. It's fascinating to watch, and it's just a background gauge. It's not everything is happening because of the Schumann resonance. Because sometimes it's spiked.
I don't even know what it relates to, honestly.
Yeah. Well, it is because it's connected to the alpha waves. That you, when there's a spike, your consciousness is expanded. But the thing is, everyone's unique and different. I'm not. Shut up.
Do you think we could do Schumann resonance experiments, like meditation experiments and stuff like that, which they've shown works? If you get a whole city to meditate, they show all these stats where stuff gets better. Do you reckon we could affect the Schumann resonance like that if we had enough people focusing on it in some particular way?
Possibly, because like when there's a spike, everyone deals with it differently. Like I know I'm in a group called the Unlovers. I've cleaned up that title. They're called something else, which I can't say on this right, like the UU group. And we have a weekly conversation. Some weeks, a third of the people have felt all this weird stuff, and another third of like, no, didn't feel a thing. And then it's not all happening at the same time, because the evolution, ascension, breakthrough, initiation, whatever language it is, it's actually an inside. It is an inside job, and it's
everyone's personal time to do that.
It's your unique journey through it. So I could be slightly ahead in the process than you are, and then 3 months later you could be ahead of me. It depends on what you're doing with your consciousness and realizations.
Peaks and troughs.
Yeah, and it's all personal. And so when people say, oh, there'll be a flash and all of humanity's going through, it's like, well, you're kind of right, because it'll be a different existence in time, and everyone's done their personal, from a 3D point of view, people will be leaving at different times, but the end of the journey, we're all arriving at the same time because we're outside of time. Does that make sense?
And there's no other way to do it but together.
Well, you do it together by doing it.
I know it sounds
personally.
Like a paradox.
It is. Yeah. You have to do it. It's an inside job. It's your personal journey of ascension. But at the end of the day, we all go through it. But it's separate at the same time.
All the biggest truths seem to be paradoxes like that.
Yeah. It's my brain's gone. I've got an example. I was like, yes, what is it? Come back next week. I thought, Jesus, that's the end of the Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they put the Ark in that warehouse.
Yeah,
that's sometimes my brain. Oh, it's in here somewhere. Well, good luck.
In the that other one with LaBouffe, when they go in,
Crystal Skull.
Yeah, they go back into that warehouse and they find things by scattering shotgun shells. Maybe you should try that mentally.
No, because I don't like that film. So the mind's like, no, don't use that example.
No, it could do. Your mind will go, there's the magnets, and you'll go up and you'll read the side of the box. And you go,
Yeah. Well, if you watch the latest incarnation of Sherlock Holmes, the TV series with Benedict Cumberbatch.
He's all right in that. I like that.
Benny Cumbercrack or whatever that guy. Yeah, that good
Crack
actor.
Bum.
Yeah, that guy.
Is this a paradox? Can I try?
Go ahead.
Just in a sec. I'll let me finish my sentence. Sherlock has something called a mind palace, and that's where he does all his thinking and working it out, and it's like a holodeck. I'm intrigued with the paradox. Go ahead.
I'm on top of a building, and both of you are below the base, and you look up to me and you ask, "Pony, are you high?"
Pony, are you high? wait, together.
No, well, is that not a paradox, or is that just...
No, I just think that's an issue you should bring up with your counsellor.
It's very visual. I was there. You took me right there.
Well, I don't know.
But I didn't know
the
what
White
I
House
was
Council
doing.
or a
in the language of The Simpsons, is your pencil holder with you on top of the building? Look what I bought,
Don't have a
Dad.
pencil.
Yeah, no, well, when
I think you guys have gone 5-level Inception. I'm back here at
when
level
the
3.
Simpsons go to Trash and Treasure, like a flea market, and Bart buys a bong, and look, a pencil holder.
Ah,
Yeah.
I forgot about
that
that.
in.
Yeah, so
You'll give us a paradox then, Monty.
pulling yourself up by your bootstraps.
Another one from Simpsons, or another one from Simpsons. We can't have peace without war.
Yeah, there
Aren't
is
they
that,
idioms though? They're idioms though.
I don't know.
Well,
It's
Raining cats and dogs.
Yeah, we're getting stuck.
yeah, it's raining men.
Careful.
God help me. There's blood and guts and everything. The screaming.
It's raining tacos.
Yeah. Still a mess. Think about it. like this month, rain should just be water. That's all it should be, unless you're.
Why is a sandwich called a sandwich?
Lord Sandwich during
or Lord Sandwich? Yeah.
yeah
that's
he
the story.
yeah well let's see now history's full of crap so we don't know, but it's a good story,
yeah.
so I'll tell it anyway. They're playing late night poker, and his servant said, "Do you want something to eat?" And he's like, "Yeah, get some bread, get a lump of meat and put it between 2 slices of bread," and that's where allegedly the name sandwich came from.
Because of his last name.
Well, yeah, because he didn't want playing cards were very expensive at that point, so he didn't want to get grease on the cards, I believe.
Yeah, he wanted handles and packaging for his
They did that with the Bluetooth guy, King Harold Bluetooth.
What they do to him?
They named Bluetooth after him.
Ah. Do you know why spam is called spam in internet world?
You mean
It's an
that?
acronym, but go on.
You mean that processed meat that if you slice sideways, you get 3 quarter-inch patties?
If I actually send you an email and you got your spam folder, basically, that is named after the Monty Python sketch, which is about spam, which is the processed meat you just mentioned.
That's cool.
Because what would you like to eat? Well, we've got spam, eggs and spam, sausage, spam, eggs, sausage, spam, and spam. Do you have anything about spam? No.
Stop spamming me.
Didn't the guy who invented the internet a little while back say he was going to make a new one?
Al Gore said that.
No.
It's from spam texting. There's more words.
Yeah, have you noticed Al Gore hasn't said anything about climate change because his film was completely wrong?
Al Gore, yeah.
He's on ice, isn't he?
Al Gore should shy away from the public light, I reckon. At this point.
Yeah, it's interesting where we have to save the planet. It's like, yeah, but your mansion drives a small town of electricity.
I've got 52 international dates to fly around with all year. I need my jet.
And who are those shy recluse royals that never come out? Oh yeah, Harry and Meghan. We want our privacy. Then stop coming out and go. They did the latest. There was that Global Citizen Festival for 24 hours, and they said, "Oh, we need vaccines for all, and we have to look after the climate and blah blah blah." All the normal narrative horse hockey, and then they get on a private jet and fly home, and it's like, ooh.
Just prior to that, they were in the World Trade Center 1 building, so I was tracking them. I was watching them. I was following.
Yeah, Tony's not a royal; he's a coder. Just pointing that out.
Creepy coder.
But yeah, here in Australia, people still love the royal family, which is kind of scary.
Not me.
Yeah, I know.
It's just old ladies, man.
It's just old ladies and old people, and this is why people can't, in brackets. Old people can't stop, their nightly 6 o'clock program here. Don't you you'd be quiet while I'm watching the news.
Yeah, I need my.
This is what's making you so hepped up. Just settle down. Here, we'll just turn off. We'll just try this one night. We won't do the news. We'll just monitor monitor our feelings. How about that?
Yeah, but EastEnders is on. I have to watch that.
It's crazy. It's crazy. They'll kill you for it if you get in the way of them in the program.
I know. When I'm over at my parents' house, they pause, so I won't talk over their things. So,
Yeah.
but that's the technology.
They stop the show.
Yeah,
Can we, at the very least, just mute the ads? Oh, you know. Have that 25% volume increase.
Well,
Are you going to be walking past all night?
Yeah, just say what you have to say and say your piece and leave.
Back to Neighbours.
Yeah. And that's still going. That started in 1987. The only reason that Neighbours is still being made is because it's huge in England.
Same as Foster's beer, then.
Well, no, people don't drink Foster's in Australia.
No, that's what I'm saying, but they sell it in the UK.
Yeah,
it's in every single pub and marketed as some fun-loving drink that people have on the beach.
Oh yeah, but they don't have Crown Lager. We have Crown Lager, so I'm guessing they're probably getting Crown Lager in Foster bottles, and our Foster's is just utter crap here, and Crown Lager is the premium beer.
I don't know.
I like a good Carlton draft.
It's okay. CD's okay.
Yeah, or Melbourne bitter as well. Yeah,
other drafts.
Carlton would like a good draft too one day.
Hey, football joke. Oh, we've gone sport balls. I don't get it. Yeah.
Oval.
Yeah, it's just.
It's when people take a 50-50 chance of being vicariously rewarded by the team they support.
What? No, your team didn't. No,
tactician.
yeah, your team did not lose. They came second. Please look at positive.
It's not so bad.
It's not so bad. Yes, you came second today, but there's only 2 players playing. Oh, once again with the negativity.
Picks and troughs, my friend.
Yeah. I did have an idea for a character of a Russian comedy coach. What are you doing? Your slapstick is terrible.
Your hair is all over the place.
You need to you have to build tension and then release. Don't waffle for so long where people lose interest in joke.
Comedyism.
Yeah, yeah. See, in comedy, Russia laughs at you. Oh, it's funny with the Russian elections. The Americans and blah, blah, blah. It's like, wow. Someone from the United States just sent over the script.
Someone's got a job in Russia.
Yeah, it's like, this is not Hollywood movie, but I saw a script of Hollywood movie, so we'll just do this, but a Russian style, yes? Duh.
It's pretty funny when you see those same kind of political patterns mirrored in different countries after one country gets away with it.
Yeah, I still maintain that the actual Nazis in the South Pole will not reveal themselves until people stop using the term Nazi so frivolously. Hans, we're not going there. They think everyone is one of us, and they're not. They're lying.
If that goes down to, do you think the supposed story, or do you think the story, or because it's fact that Germany went there earlier on, like 36 or whatever, down to Antarctica and supposedly set up a base that people called an impenetrable fortress. But that goes into the reason why they were there. Were they looking for some kind of, they were all hunting around doing the Indiana Jones thing at that stage, trying to, get things like the Popol Vuh from the Tibetan monks, which they got a hold of, which means they were able to convince them that they were doing something for something. You'd think the Tibetans wouldn't have given that up. But they were hunting all that stuff down. Were they down there to look further into like something like a Hollow Earth theory?
Is there an entrance to the Hollow Earth? Is there a Stargate? Is there a pyramid that the predators built so they can unleash aliens so their young warriors can be initiated? I like the film. That's why I'm mentioning it.
It seems to have turned out that most ended up in South America.
Yeah. Also because the Van Allen belts, which queries of like, how did someone in a capsule made of foil go through the radiation belts? But because it's a toroid, what is it? What's the donut shape?
Toroid.
Yeah, toroid. There's the holes at the top and the bottom of the planet where you can actually go in and out. There's myth/story from the First Nations of Australia that they landed in the South Pole and they migrated up to Australia, and that's where they came from originally.
Most Inuits say that.
Yeah, they probably came from the South or the North Pole.
Wherever whichever, native.
Actually, it could be. Well, there's no land in the North Pole. That's just ice. All of that is ice. It's just it's a polar cap, but there is actually land underneath the South Pole, or under the ice of the South Pole.
I've heard tales from Inuits in the North Pole, I guess, or up in that region, or anyone close to up there as far as people go, say, their legends were that they came from.
Well, yeah. Did you know up until the 20th century, the Chinese were referred to as the Celestials because their dragon, their race the dragons landed there and they colonized there. And I think there's a connection to the moon. I'm not sure 100%, but yeah, I do remember they were referred to as Celestials because of their belief system of
that name would infer a connection to the moon.
Yeah. Well, Celestial. Yeah.
Well, the South African that dude Credo Matwa has told some African folklore that their oldest stories of the moon were that of two brothers that stole the moon and dragged it into place. So there was there was a time when it wasn't there.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's linked to Enyo and Enki, who are the brothers. See, there's a lot of these stories that survive today that you can link back. David Icke did a lot of that, and most of them are linked to a reptilian race. Now, not all reptilians are bad. That's like judging humanity on Joe Biden. No.
Different stories from different races could be the same story quite easily.
Yeah, even here in Australia, they're referred to sky people and space people or star people, and there's drawings of what looks like they're wearing
kind of helmets.
Motorcycle helmets. It's like, well, hang on, what's going on here? But of course, the academia is like, oh no, they were high on peyote and they saw that. No, so.
I like that Electric Universe Australian dude who came forward and had a look at all those cave drawings and saw the same ones that were in different caves around the world, and then related that back to when the planets were closer together. You could actually see the plasma link between the planets, and so what you would have seen was this same kind of imagery that is seen in multiple continents that wouldn't have had the means to get to each other,
And it makes sense as well because the solar system moves through the galaxy, and so everything's in motion. Now, does that mean are we following? Is there a vortex behind the sun and all the planets in an orbit, but they're following like in a comet tail? Or is it like having record players on a carousel where Pluto actually swings out in front of the sun of the solar system because there's a heliosphere around the solar system which bumps things out of the way? And so, but hang on, we wouldn't see Pluto.
I got the feeling that we still don't have the modeling right yet. I mean, that one where we spiral through space is quite beautiful. But it's I like it, but I get the feeling it's way more complex.
Well, that's what I think, because if you're just doing the basic thing of the sun's in the middle, and if that's traveling, we shouldn't see Jupiter for half a century or something because it's behind the sun. You know what I'm saying? Or it's not half a century because the Earth's moving as well, but as the Earth does its rotation around the sun, certain planets would disappear because the sun's in between. We have our solar. Is it a solar eclipse where the sun's in between us and something? Yeah. So I don't know. It's just, I'd rather talk about this than look, we're in lockdown again. So thank you for the chat, gents.
No, I think we got some. I think we got some more work to do. That spiraling one was super pretty, and we seem to be moving as a galaxy. How are we doing that amongst the rest of everything that's out there?
Yes. But the real question is, and I have to state this in all seriousness and in a deep voice, and that question is.
Deeper.
Oh, all right. Pony, are you doing an after party show? You going to hang around with Cortek and talk code?
No, I don't know. If Cortek wants to, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I can do that. Yeah. Well, yeah. I'll just leave you on the call then.
I've got nothing planned.
No, neither.
Well,
But that's lockdown.
oh well, I'll end
Okay.
this call. You can still get the server though, can't you?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, at the end of the show, which is in 3 minutes, I'll shut this call down and you can start it up, and I can be let go, and I'll watch Avatar: The Last Airbender because that's my hobby, yo.
So good.
And if you go for half an hour, you go for half an hour. If you go for 3, you go for 3. Free will planet on a free will solar system in a free will galaxy in a free will universe. Actually, I can see why there's so many problems here.
Free Willy.
I'd like to address that earlier point where you said people were complaining about people demonstrating with the workers. I mean, that's the whole point. If you say there was a march to try and get research for diseases or something like that, and you supported that idea, you should be able to march with those people whether you have that disease or not, or whether you're directly involved in that. If you support the idea, you should be able to get out there and march.
Well, the actual protesters with the mandates is they're pro-choice, and even vaccinated people were walking with in that protest because they understand of mandates from the government is a loss of pro-choice. But you'll see the media just keep twisting it. Like they get 500 protesters, and then you look at the photo and you see 4,000 people in the photo. So that's the point I was trying to make earlier, is that the mainstream media has been outed because they twist and lie, and
anyone who didn't trust them before should have a healthy distrust of them now. Yeah,
and so why can't you join the union members against mandatory vaccinations? Like, oh, you're fake tradies. Really? It's so fighting tyranny is a bad thing. What are you, nuts? And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That was Planet Collingwood. You're on Studio A. Hang around for the after party for these young chaps to have a bit of a waffle. We'll be back in 6 days and 22 hours. I am still Monty Dean. You're awesome, and we'll see you next week. Take care and have fun.